Right, so the other day I put out a post asking you guys if you think Control Your Narrative is the worst wrestling company ever. And I was expecting to get some answers maybe from like years past so I can check out some really old school shows. But most of the answers I got, which you're about to see, was either yes, people just agreeing, yeah, it is. Herb Abrams' UWF still exists. I had no idea it still exists. XPW I knew still exists. I didn't know it was that bad though, apparently. And then the rest were just AEW, and I think that's pretty much it. So today I want to go ahead and actually rank what I think are the top 10 wrestling shows today in 2022. And by that I mean the shows that I've watched. I'm ranking every show that I have watched this year. I wrote down every show that I have watched in wrestling this year, a current, still ongoing show. I wrote it down on my notes, and it came out with 10 results, and I made a top 10 list to prove whether Control Your Narrative is or isn't the worst wrestling show today, because let's see if it's the worst today before we find out if it's the worst ever. So yeah, spoiler, Control Your Narrative is on this list somewhere, and we're gonna find out if it's better or worse than other promotions today, if it is the worst or not. So I actually took it upon myself to make a PowerPoint presentation for today. I thought it'd be fun, and that's what we're going to be doing now. So yeah, guys, Top 10 Wrestling presents the ultimate list. Number 1, and we're going from best to worst. Number 1, and oh boy, I hear the comments. My number 1 is AEW Dynamite. It hasn't changed. Even with everything going on with AEW right now, with the CM Punk and the Elite stuff, AEW's weekly output still continues to be solid, at least in terms of Dynamite Weekly. It is a show I can easily tune into every week. I don't usually tune into it live every week, but if I wanted to, I could, and I'd probably watch a solid wrestling show that I'll enjoy for the most part. And you look at all the people in this picture, you know, you got Hangman Page, CM Punk, Bryan, Adam Cole, Darby Allin, Jericho, MJF, Kenny, Jungle Boy, Jade, Moxley, Keith Lee. There's so many good stars in this pick, and a lot of these guys are just guys on the roster. Like Keith Lee is in this picture, an amazing guy, and he's just a guy on the roster you see every week. Like the show has great star power. Number 2 is NXT. NXT and AEW still just rule the land for the quality in wrestling shows weekly. It has not changed, even with the change to NXT 2.0, though I do have a confession. While I was keeping up with NXT 2.0 for a while, watching matches here and there, I only just watched my first full episode today, the post-Halloween Havoc episode, the one from yesterday, and I really, really liked it. Like, I watched the entire thing, and I'm probably going to watch the show weekly now, because I'm really, really liking it. So NXT could probably overtake Dynamite in the next coming weeks if I just keep watching it more and they keep up the quality, because I really liked it, and it's number 2 on my list. Number 3 is Monday Night Raw. Okay, there was meant to be a slide in between, whatever. Monday Night Raw, the issue is that it's so inconsistent. When it's good, like, it's a good show, but when it's bad, it's just a 3-hour drag, just... Yeah, I can't, most of the time I don't get through Monday Night Raw, but when it is good, you can get all the way through it and have a good 3 hours. What Monday Night Raw has is a great combination of in-ring talent, big names, big stars, and also probably the best women's division in the world with Bianca Belair, who I think is the best women's wrestler in the world, and even just in this photo, Bayley and Rhea Ripley as well. And then add to the Raw roster, you got Seth Rollins, one of the best in the world, no matter what you tell me, and he has been one of the best for a while. Lashley, who's been putting on the best work of his career in the last 5 years. And then guys like just Edge, who's returned out of retirement and can still go. Like, that's the depth this Raw roster has. It's very versatile, and when they can use it well, they get a good show out of it usually, but again, it's quite inconsistent. Number 4 is Rampage. This is Rampage, baby. It would be higher, but some of the cards that they just send out for Rampage are just incredible. Like this one, this past week was main evented by Roosh, Cassidy, and Preston Vance. Like, 3 good guys, don't get me wrong, but should they be main eventing your TNT Warner Media TV slot TV show. I don't know why I prolonged that so much. Should they be main eventing your TV show is the better question, and probably not. I mean, Rampage used to have really good main events, and now it's kind of just seen as a B show. It's not really seen as equal with Dynamite like it was advertised as, and what I'd kind of like to see it as, to be honest. But still good, still gets good solid in-ring action. It's just the main thing is star power on the show, but it's a good in-ring show, and that's what gets it number 4. Number 5 is SmackDown. SmackDown would also be higher if I wasn't just kind of bored of the Bloodline by now. And I see the comments once again. Oh boy, he put AEW number 1 and said he's bored of the Bloodline. But now the thing is, there's some really good wrestlers on SmackDown. Like, the Bloodline are great in the ring. Drew McIntyre is amazing, one of the top stars of the last few years. A main issue is the women's division as well. You look at this photo here. Ronda Rousey is their big name. She's not super well liked amongst the audience. You have Liv Morgan here, who was the women's champion, a women's champion who people really wanted to see be champion for a while, but in her reign, they just kind of made her look really weak. And in the current SmackDown landscape, I feel like they need a good main event solidified woman, and they kind of failed to do that with Liv Morgan's reign, which really should have been the purpose of her reign. She doesn't look more of a main eventer now, and she really should have. And she kind of had the women's version of Big E's title reign, a reign we all waited really long to get, and when they got it, they kind of never really changed as a wrestler, or they were never really booked better. They just kind of had the title as a prop, really. Still love Liv Morgan though, and she should absolutely be one of the top names in this women's division. And SmackDown overall is still a solid show. Those are just really my qualms with it. I've never said that word qualms. What does that actually mean? Number 6, NWA Power. And NWA Power is easily one of the weirdest wrestling shows out there, because they have really good names and really great wrestlers. Like Cameo is a really great women's wrestler. She's the women's champion. Matt Cardona is doing some of his best work. Homicide, like a name from the past, from the TNA and Ring of Honor era. But then you have like Mike Knox, who's like some ex WWE mid-carder, and realistically does a major show need him in 2022. But this roster put together creates this really weird, interesting show that I find myself enjoying actually most of the time. And NWA Power, though it's not as good as it was years ago when it first started, NWA Power was amazing back then. It's not as good anymore. It's definitely dropped off a lot. I mean, you have people like Tyrus as a champion, and I see the comments once again after saying that, oh god. But NWA Power overall, very solid. Number 7, Impact Wrestling. I'm not going to talk about it as much because I literally did a video on it yesterday. If you want to see my thoughts on Impact, just watch my videos yesterday and read some of the angry comments in that video. That I will probably respond to some of them in the future because there were some good points, fair enough. Number 8, AEW Dark. And I put Dark and Elevation both here because they're the exact same show. They haven't changed at all in the last few years. I don't really watch it. Like I said, this is just a list of things I've watched this year. I can't really remember the last time I watched a full episode. I've just watched matches here and there. I've never watched a full episode this year, come to think of it. Number 9 is NWA USA, the Dark for NWA. So it's never going to be that great. I pretty much said it just then. But yeah, this was a top 10 list, and number 10 is still Control Your Narrative, man. I'm sorry. It's just not even better than NWA USA. It absolutely is the worst wrestling show that I have watched this year, easily in this top 10. There's probably some more out there that I haven't thought of off the top of my head I have watched from like an obscure indie company. You know, I'm not including all the British wrestling shows that I attend in person, but this is for TV shows, and Control Your Narrative just isn't it, man. I'm sorry. There is a new show though that was released recently. It's their first show in a while, their return, I guess, and I need to watch that for a future video. So maybe that will change, but that's a video that will come out soon. Either way, I hope you guys enjoyed my PowerPoint. Oh, there isn't a thanks for watching slide. I thought I put one. I'll just say it here. Thanks for watching.